wanking, masturbation is not a very productive thing to do. It can be nice to do time to time. People and animals are doing it all over the world. That's not the issue here. Your brain has put masturbation and watching scumbag material on the internet together. And with this, you can enter a death spiral which takes all of their life force out of you. And I'm not just talking about semen, I'm talking about vigor, libido, the willingness to fight and to take risks in life. And this is very dangerous, and this is something that I have been a victim of, that I have taken ownership of and overcome. So I am here to guide you through. Welcome to the guide to end your porn habit, porn use, porn addiction, no matter what level you're at. I will help you throughout this guide of multiple hours. My name is Vangelis. I've reached multiple 90+ day triple digit streaks. I've had my own struggle and I've managed to overcome my porn habit, my porn addiction, and I have also had my hurdles where I have discovered what works and what doesn't. On top of that, I am a coach in CSGO, which is an esport. I've had hundreds of clients and I only had 5-star reviews. The first question to ask yourself, have you tried quitting before and have you failed at quitting porn? About 100% of men in the Western world have seen porn. So half of these guys, they don't really watch porn, right? So that's already 50% of the population cut. They might stumble upon porn every 2 months, every half a year, but they don't really care about porn. And you'll be like, how the fuck is that so? Well, it's because they probably have a different way of coping with stress, a different way of coping with loneliness, a different way to cope with horniness. They might have a partner. They might turn to other drugs like alcohol, like weed. They might do video games, or better yet, they might express their own emotions with art, singing, creating stuff. Yeah, so it's not just porn. There are other addictions that people go into. And there are also healthy ways that people cope. And a lot of these guys do just that. Number 2, people who watch porn on a weekly, daily basis maybe, it depends on the person. Usually this guy watches porn more than once a week. So, depending on the other life circumstances, this can be devastating to your life. Because this can stagnate your life without you noticing it as a problem. This is what happened to me as well. This stagnates your life, but you don't know what it exactly is holding you back from achieving your full potential, that is holding you back from continuously improving in your life. Porn use is very, very dependent on your other activities. Take example from Chad, of course. Chad is a semi-professional hockey player who goes to the gym every 3 days or every 2 days and also has hockey practice on the other days. His testosterone is through the roof. So although he is a habitual porn user, he doesn't really see any hindrances. Also, Chad hasn't started watching porn at the age of 13 or 12. He started watching porn at 17. That was the first time he discovered it because his wide circle of friends didn't talk about porn. They were talking about girls, hobbies, cars, bicycles, whatever, playing cards. So Chad doesn't really have a problem with this. Chad's energy level are still high. But if you put the same habit into another person's life, for example, take Jeffrey, for example, shout out to Hamza. Jeffrey might have the same habit of watching porn every second day. And he might be stagnating so hard in life because his testosterone, his energy is extremely low. While Chad can actually afford to do this every 2 days because his energy levels, his vigor, his testosterone is extremely high. And he might use this to cope with this problem of having too much energy. Jeffrey here is playing video games every day, or watching movies every day, or participating in forums like Reddit every day, or 4chan, or whatever type of low energy activities will cause his testosterone, his vigor to drop. And if Jeffrey doesn't pay attention to this, and how could he doesn't even know porn is bad for him, his energy level will bottom out. It will flatline. His libido will bottom out. his libido will flatline eventually, and at that point he will be not interested in girls. He will not be interested in growth or exploring new opportunities in the world. So he will be kind of a shut-in, an introvert. And although introverts do exist, Jeffrey here might be extroverted and he might think he's an introvert because his energy level is so low that he doesn't go out at all to socialize. He looks at his habits and he's like, yeah, of course I'm an introvert. Yeah, I like to stay at home. If Jeffrey would go out often and wouldn't watch porn, he might realize he loves being with other guys up until a point, or maybe endlessly, and it invigorates him with even more energy. But he doesn't, because he doesn't even know if porn is bad for him. Jeffrey's probably started at 13, 12 years old, and he's been doing it on an on and off regular basis ever since then. So obviously Chads are rarer than Jeffrey's, because a lot of guys just play computer games and they get the amazing benefit of having another addiction next to gaming. Phenomenal. And at last, there are the guys who just cannot control their own urges. These guys do not have a structure to their habitual porn use. They don't have it like Jeffrey, for example. He would maybe do it every morning or every night or once a day. So there would be some sort of structure to it, and he would very rarely deviate, maybe once or twice per month. However, these guys, they're completely full-blown addicts. They cannot stop. But they have an advantage. They know that they're fucked up. They know that this is a huge problem for them. So these guys have problems mentally as well as with this addiction. And in general, most of the guys who watch porn have mental issues. But it's not like a severe thing, not necessarily. However, these guys usually have more severe underlying mental problems. And so these are the guys who frequent NoFap forums all the time, and they are just bitching and crying about they cannot stop. And they are right to do so. They are victims of the modern world. But just think about it. If it wasn't porn, it would be something else. It would be weed, it would be alcohol, cigarettes, or maybe sex. It's the same shit. It's in a different packaging. Think about it. What is your level of porn use, and is it worth it for you to quit? Because as I said, half of the guys don't really see a benefit from never watching porn again. Sure, it would be nice, but think about the guy who smokes, that, by the way, that's me. Like, I smoke 4 cigarettes a year. If I quit smoking cigarettes, would I see a serious life benefit? No. Also, if you have a very sporty lifestyle, if you go to the gym a lot, if you are also social, because that's important. Remember, you're not Chad if you cannot socialize, if you cannot get a girlfriend, if you have trouble going up to people, you're not a Chad. In order to do that, you have to regulate your porn use. Your testosterone levels might be high, but if you cannot have a social life by doing this, porn can indirectly influence your social skills and your ability to notice social cues. I would say Chads are like 2 to 5% of all users. These numbers are an estimate based on the experience and data I have found during my research years ago when I was quitting my habit. These stereotypes aren't exact. One can have traits of multiple. These are the main stages of abstinence, of habit, and of addiction. Full-blown addicts might cycle clean for days and relapse into compulsion of extreme frequencies that are borderline self-destructive. And it's also very important to not frequent these Reddits of NoFap and stuff regularly, because these are the guys you'll be talking to. And as an echo chamber, you will think it is normal to have random urges to watch porn. If you don't have that already, if you started having that when you started reading these forums of NoFap, if you started reading forums on 4chan, my friend, you fooled yourself, and you might have also developed some compulsive problems with porn use. If this is a problem and it does hurt you, please keep watching these videos, and in the next I will be talking about the side effects that you might experience during habitual porn use. This is a full guide, there is no extra. If you go to the program, I have a coaching program that helps you implement the steps in this guide, plus it gives you personalized coaching. But this is truly all you need. I believe in the internet, and I believe that all knowledge should be free to access, and that's why I'm making this completely free. Me giving this value to you will result in a better world, hopefully.